What's going on, guys? This is David here. In this video, we're going to be looking at 10 of the best iOS 11.3.1 jailbreak tweaks for the month of August 2018. Before we start this video, however, I do want to say Coolstar has yet to actually make Packix a default repo again, even though he said he was going to. Because of drama and the current situation with Packix, a lot of tweaks on this list I tried to make Big Boss only. However, there are a few that are on different repos. So the Packix repo I'm going to show on the screen right now. Again, unfortunately, it's not default. I don't know if it'll ever be default again. The way that, certain people were talking about it, it might be, it might not be. We'll have to wait and see. But in July, my last video, I did think that they were going to re-add it because that was what Coolstar was saying. But for whatever reason right now, it's still not added. So I don't know if it's going to be added in the future or if it won't be, but this is the situation right now. Alright guys, starting off the list at number 10, we have Avertus. Now, this is sort of a copy of that, quick switcher tweak that was sort of known as OXO, if you guys aren't familiar with that. And there were a few tweaks that replicated that functionality because OXO has not been updated in a super long time. This tweak would be further down my list, but honestly, I don't think this tweak works as good as some of the other ones did. I mean, it's just, you can see it's not as polished, and maybe there's some bugs that still need to be ironed out with this tweak, and, maybe in time, I would actually put this further down my list, but for right now, just because of the way it looks, I mean, you guys can see it. It just looks like it crashes back out to the home screen. Normally it would stay on whatever app you're in. It wouldn't just crash out to the home screen when I want to go and use the quick switcher. So it's nice that someone was able to replicate that functionality and bring it to iOS 11.3.1. However, it's just not as good as I think it could have been. Next up, we have better badges. And honestly, I think this is pretty cool. If you swipe up on an application that you have notifications for, you can see that we have sort of a unique way that we can tell that we have notifications on our app. Would I have this all the time on my device? Maybe not, but I still think it looks pretty cool for this tweak. It surprised me. I was installing it because I was looking for some tweaks to put in this video, and I was like, why not? Let me see if this is an interesting tweak, and turns out I think it's a pretty cool tweak. At number 8, we have Chroma Homebar 10. So this is actually a pretty interesting tweak because whether or not you have an iPhone 10 or if you have another device like say 6S in my case, you can still use this tweak. This can work in conjunction with Little 10 or whatever iPhone 10 gesture tweak that you want to put on your non-iPhone 10 device. It works in conjunction with that and you can get it so that it basically works. If we go into the settings for this tweak, there's so many settings, there's so much to customize. Basically, it lets you customize the iPhone 10 home bar, whether you have an iPhone 10 or not. I'm sure you guys probably noticed my dock and you're a little bit confused as to how it looks like that. Navel is a tweak that basically lets you customize the color of your dock and sort of how it looks. So there's different options, there's different settings. You can mess around with the different colors and all that type of stuff, but honestly, I think this looks pretty cool. You can make it so that if you're using tweaks in conjunction with this tweak to sort of tweak the dock around to make it look like the iPad dock, it will also theme the iPad dock as well. I think it's an interesting tweak, and because it's free, there's no harm in checking it out. So the last few top tweak videos that I've done, a lot of you guys have wondered what this lock screen widget was. Well, it's a tweak called Simple LS iOS, but that's not the actual tweak that we're talking about. Today we are talking about a tweak called Fast Forward Time. I wish this tweak did work with Simple LS iOS, but for whatever reason it doesn't. And Simple LS iOS doesn't have an option to do what this tweak does. So what does this tweak do then? Well, it's actually pretty cool. What it does is, just like with Springtimize, when I was able to put seconds on my time on the home screen, but with this tweak, I also can do it on the lock screen. Like I said, although I do like this tweak, I really wish it was compatible with LS iOS, or LS iOS did have an option in the settings to have this be a thing. Because I do enjoy being able to see the seconds on my lock screen just like on my home screen, but I do miss my lock screen the way that it normally looks. At number 5, we have Adagio. Is it Adagio, Adago, Adigo? I don't even know how to say. Okay, my thing with these tweaks, what is it with developers and naming tweaks and naming different things? ridiculously hard things to pronounce. Like, why? Why is this a thing? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, this tweak at number 5 is a pretty cool tweak when it works. There are actually times where it didn't work for me, but it's a pretty cool tweak nonetheless. For whatever reason, when I was recording this video, I couldn't get this tweak to not work. When I wasn't recording this video and I was just using my phone regularly, it just wouldn't work. Another cool part of this tweak that I didn't actually know about until I was messing around with it in this video is if you tap and you hold on one of the icons on the side, you can actually bring up a little view where you can interact with the application. It's pretty cool, but the other thing is if you're in an application, you can't interact with the application that you're in. So I was in Twitter and I tried opening up YouTube using that view, and it just wouldn't let me interact with both. I can interact with YouTube, but I need to get out of that, little launcher if I wanted to browse Twitter. It doesn't advertise itself as a tweak that can do that, but I just thought, considering that this was a feature I found, that maybe that was the case. One of the nice things about the YouTube app for iOS is if you want to go forward, you can tap to the right to go forward in a video, and if you want to go backward, if you miss something, you can tap to the left to go backward. A lot of people wish they could do this with Netflix. Well, with this tweak called Tap Tap for Netflix, you can. So just like YouTube, if I'm in the Netflix app and I tap to the right, it'll do that, and if I tap to the left, it'll do that. I wanted to cut it off there because I don't want any copyright in this video. Throughout this video, you might be noticing that I have a different style for my battery. This is thanks to a tweak called Alkaline. Alkaline's been out for a while already, but it's one of those tweaks that I feel like I never really talk about, and it's a pretty good tweak, so I definitely would check it out if you haven't heard of it. At number 2, we have Cool CC. This tweak is pretty interesting, pretty cool, as the name implies, because it gives sort of a transparent look to the control center. It looks interesting, it looks cool, and yeah, I don't know, it's a free tweak, check it out, I think it's interesting. Our number 1 tweak is Stack XI. This tweak just recently came out, and this developer has seriously been killing it. If you're not sure who this developer is, I forget the developer's actual name on Twitter, but this developer has come up with some really awesome tweaks. The number 1 tweak in my video last month is actually hers, but she's been doing a really great job. This basically mimics the style of the iOS 12 notifications on iOS 11 and presumably below, I think, but it works really, really well. You guys can see, I mean, it looks a lot like iOS 12's notification style, so I do really enjoy this tweak. It groups the notifications. That's the biggest thing to come out of iOS 12 when it got announced that everyone was super excited for. Finally, Apple finally listened to the community in some regard and put group notifications in stock iOS. That was a big thing to come out of iOS 12. And a lot of people actually enjoyed the style that was done in. With this tweak, not only can you group notifications, but you can have a similar style to how you would have on stock iOS 12. I think it looks really good, and I think it is deserving of the number 1 tweak spot for the month of August. I think there are a few bugs here and there because this notification won't actually go away, so yeah, there might be a few bugs that need fixing, but all in all, it's a really good experience. Alright guys, that pretty much does it for today's video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Periscope, and turn on notifications for both. I don't normally say that on YouTube, but I want you guys to know I do have a Twitter and I do have a Periscope, and those as well as the links to my other socials will be down below in the description. Go ahead, check them out to see more content from me and all that other stuff. I also have another channel as well called Reality Realm, and I've been doing teaser trailers, recaps, complete recaps, a bunch of stuff, reaction videos. I've been doing a bunch of stuff over there, so the content doesn't always end on Apple Attack. I do have other content for you guys to enjoy, so make sure to check those out if you haven't already. Please make sure to slap that like button and subscribe and turn that notification bell on, because YouTube doesn't always like to send out notifications. But anyway guys, like I said, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, this is David signing out. Have a good one guys, peace.